You probably know that obviously to sell more of your stuff, program, offer, service, you need to have more conversations. But then, how are you going to start those conversations online? Sending cold DMs, pitching in an email or in a first message? I've got a good news for you because there is a better way and I want to share it with you. And for those who don't know me, my name is Monika Todd. I am a marketing geek. I love to learn, practice, and implement things that work and I then pass it to you so that you win that social media game, create an impact and income for yourself. Creating premium offers is another thing that I love. But let's dive into the topic of starting conversations because yes, I have been in that moment of my kind of professional career where you learn from many different people and you hear about starting conversations. How many conversations do you have every day? You need to make sure you start new conversations, you connect with people, start the conversations. And it's like, okay, how do I do that? Do I just simply just connect with 100 people on Facebook and send them a message straight away? Because I bet for many of you it feels a bit icky. For some, you're absolutely fine with that. For me, it just didn't feel aligned. Just didn't feel just it. I knew there is another way. So obviously, okay, I was on a search for that. I was trying different things, and it's the content that I dialed into, and I tried different types of content, tested different things. And what I want to share with you today is the 5 pieces of different types of content that you can share that will spark conversations with your ideal audience. Not with any audience, with your ideal audience. And some of it you have heard before, but I want to put a spin on it because to get your ideal audience attracted to talk to you need to twist this type of content in a way that you not only showcases your expertise, you showcase that you're human being. You're not just talking about the amazing expertise that you have, but you're also showcasing your values, what you stand for. So what are those 5 pieces of different type of content? First, you have seen them a lot probably on social media, especially on Facebook, and it's engagement questions. But not just any engagement questions. It needs to be a questions that obviously link to what is it that you do, but it will give you some either insights about your audience, or it will prompt the audience to answer some questions, obviously, and then you come in and give, maybe some perspective, maybe some help, some advice. And a big thing I need to tell you here: avoid asking question, what is it that you're struggling with at the moment? Unless you have super engaged audience, unless maybe it's your membership, it's fine. When you're building that audience, when you're building the trust, that is the questions you should not ask. You need to showcase your skill of social listening and actually asking the questions that will answer it, but in a different way. So I want you to add spin onto those questions, and you will be amazed what response you're going to get. And don't make them all stiff and just about your thing. Add a little bit of fun to it from time to time so that your audience just feels like, I want to answer that question. Um, so that is one piece of amazing content. I've done about probably 500 questions in my group now, and since I launched my group. And I have to say, there were some questions that surprised me in terms of why no one answers it, and there were some questions I was like, oh, that's interesting, and that sparked a lot of conversations. Now the conversation started because I started to replying to the comments and giving them maybe shift on perspective and things like that, and some would directly just send me a message. Sometimes I would contact them privately if it's something, oh, I'm not sure if that person would like to hear it, like in my reply in the comments, so I'll do that. So that is a one amazing type of content that sparks conversations. The second one is what I call relatable story. And I don't talk here about, being vulnerable, sharing the things that you don't want to share, because I don't think you should do that. And it's not about doing an essay or an hour-long video about your story. Yes, it is good to do it once you build the audience and it's like, okay, I want to share my story with you now. But it's about sharing a pieces of stories from the past that relate maybe to something what you do now, maybe to the solution that you have found, maybe to the journey that you have had. And I'm sure you can pick many of different stories that your audience will relate to, because they feel like, oh my god, I feel like I'm in that place. That gives me a hope I can actually turn it around. Because you did it, I can do it. So, and it could be from childhood, certain moments from the childhood that actually made a difference to what you do now. Maybe something with your previous job. Maybe, when you became a mom. Maybe when you did you learned something. Maybe when you met someone, you went some event and there was a big transformation for you because of something. So start adding those stories to your content, whether it's a written post or a video, doesn't matter. I mean, you should kind of almost like add those little stories into your lives anyway. But making a single piece of content something about the stories from either your past, it's amazing. And you will be incredibly amazed how many people will be, oh my god, I know, I can totally relate. But there will be also some people who may not comment, but will be like, I think that person gets me because she went through it or he went through it. So there is a power in that. Another third piece of content is what I call, it's a giving a simple but powerful piece of value, lead magnet, or as I love to call it, honeypots. So create something that is super valuable for your audience, what they want, and then offer it to them. And that is an amazing way to start the conversations. Yes, there is a process how to do it in a great way, like, what wording you should use, and then what you do after when they raise their hand that they want that freebie. But that's an amazing way to start the conversations. And I would say probably that's one of those that you will get a lot of engagement on as well, because people will start saying, yes, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. And then that gives you a feel of who is interested in this, what you have to offer. Not everyone will carry on the conversation. Some just want freebie, but there will be a lot of people who will be exposed to a piece of value that you have given them, and they'll be like, interesting. I wonder what that was amazing piece of value. I wonder what that person got else in store. So that's the third piece of content. Fourth piece of content is shifting perspectives. And shifting perspective is not necessarily about being controversial, but it's about standing for what you believe. Make sure it relates to your industry and what you do. If you are in marketing, don't talk about politics. Okay, leave the politics. If you're using certain social media platform to grow your business, don't throw stuff in it that, yes, you might believe in it. Take it to a different forum. I think that is important. And I think a very good example of that is your stance on the COVID vaccinations and all that stuff. Is like, if it doesn't relate to what you do, then take that conversation somewhere else and stick to shifting perspective of something that relates to your industry, something that maybe has been happening for many years, but there is now a better way to do that. Because oftentimes people will feel like, that's what I have to do, that's the path. It's like, there's no other way. And it's like, you come in, it's like, there is another way. I've tried it, I've tested, I've done it. And they're like, oh my God, tell me more about that. This is a type of content that, again, won't create necessarily a lot of engagement, but may create conversations straight away outside of your social media platforms, straight into private messages. So I've had many of those conversations outside when I shared things on my stories, especially Instagram and Facebook stories. And I had people messaging like, look, I've seen you've been sharing this, this, and that. I feel like you can help me. Can we have a chat? And this is an amazing way to, again, connect on that deeper level with your ideal audience. So that's the fourth piece of content. And the last one is the simplest, easiest, and it's what I call this or that. But this or that, again, related to what you do, related to industry, related what is it that you can help with, related to maybe some help that you need, maybe with branding, with choosing colors, and you're asking them, I was like, I've created those 2 covers for my new program. This is on this colors, this is this colors. Which one should I choose because I don't know? And this is great way. It will spark a lot of engagement, but it will also spark curiosity in your ideal client's mind, because it will be like they're obviously looking at the colors, but then it's like, what is that? I want to know a little bit more about that. Or if you're struggling to choose a name for your Facebook group, pop is a look, I need your help. I'm creating a group that will be for those people. That will be the purpose of the group. I'm struggling between this name or this name. Which one would you go for? Which one would attract you more? So this or that is a great way to get engagement, but also spark curiosity. What is it that you're doing behind the scenes? So those are 5 pieces of content. They have worked amazingly well for me. I still use them. I teach my clients to them. Obviously, I help them create their own library of those different types of content. So 5 pieces of content that sparks conversations, engagement questions, intentional engagement question, relatable story, honeypots, piece of amazing value. Shift in perspective, and this or that, obviously relating to your expertise and what you do and what you stand for. Hope you have found it helpful. If you want to learn more about me, obviously there's plenty of links in the description, so you can go there and have a bit of a look. There's also a link to download engagement questions that have worked the most amazingly well for me, so you can grab that freebie from me. And on that note, I will see you on the next videos.